Yo, 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 my Star Citizens and Noob Gamers. Welcome back to another episode of Star Citizen. I'm not going to be playing the game this time round. What I'm going to be doing is just going through my key bindings with my pad. Some people have asked me about key bindings and a specific request by vmerks to go through my key bindings of my pad so that people that are looking at the pad video that I put up can see my actual key bindings. So that's what I'm going to do in this video, and show you how to save those key bindings and what to do when there's a wipe, what you need to do to keep those key bindings when the wipe comes along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to my options, and I'll just go through my game settings and stuff like that. So I have a toggle on my aim down sight. I prefer that. I don't like to hold my aim down sight. I prefer to hold it, to press it once and then let go. So that my aim down sight is on a toggle for that reason. The other thing I've changed on here, if I scroll down, is I put on, when I find it, the padlock, I think it's called. I'm just looking for where it is. I'll find it. There we are. So pilot driver turret automatically enables padlock. So I've set that to yes, and what that means is once you target somebody, your character will look at that person and move his head with the person. So if the person zips off to the left, your pilot will move his head to follow him. So I've put that on. My graphics, I'll go through that with you guys. I've just basically taken down my gamma and my brightness and my contrast. And I've got it on very high, medium. Took the motion blur off, VSync off, and then put my sharpness at 73 and took aberration off and film grain off. So audio wise, you guys, that's up to you guys on that. Another thing I tend to do is, because I talk to a lot of people, mainly in Discord, I mute my microphone as well. So you might not hear me in game at times because I've muted my microphone. So in the controls, if my mouse and settings, I'd not really touched my mouse settings on that, but what I have done is in my gamepad here, my inversion settings, I always have my game inverted, my look up and down inverted. Always have done that. I've done that since very early days, and not on the movement I haven't, EVA I haven't. So all the rest of it is as it was. So I've just basically inverted the character. But then what I've done is I've changed some of the sensitivities here. So as you can see, if I look at the curves, I've edited the curve a little bit on these. So you can have a quick look at these. And I've took down some of the sensitivity on the movement because it was just too much on FPS movement. And especially on EVA, it was really sensitive on EVA. So I've taken that down quite a lot. And same with the flight, a little down a little bit here on the turrets, mainly on the turrets because the turrets are quite sensitive, and same with the ground vehicles. So I've basically taken down some of the sensitivities because they became too much. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my key bindings now, and I'm going to set to the gamepad and the advanced controls here. So what you need to do is make sure you set to gamepad or keyboard or whatever you want to change on, and then this is where you'll save your controllers. Once you've got your settings up here, this is where you'll save it, and then you can recall that later on, and that's where you can also grab the file and put it into a safe place for when there's a wipe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through these modes. So especially with the gamepad, you have to go in and assign some of these buttons because for some reason they're just not assigned. So I've not touched anything on here. That's all the same. This I haven't touched anything, as you can see. They're all unassigned on here. The vehicle view, I haven't touched anything on here. These are all the same. The movement, I haven't touched anything on here, but I'll go through these so you can see them. So my speed limiter increase, I've put to be my left shoulder button, my modifier button, and the right trigger, and I keep hold of it to take up the limiter, speed limiter, and then I use the same but with the left trigger to decrease it. So I made that change there. And then down here, my cruise control I've put to be my modifier and my left thumbstick, but I use a Elite 2 controller, and what I've done is in the Elite 2 controller settings, my bottom levers underneath the pad, I've set my left top lever to be my thumbstick button, my shoulder button, sorry, to be my left shoulder button, and I've used the bottom lever to be my left thumbstick pressing. So I just have to pull the two levers at the bottom of the pad to do the cruise control, basically. And my landing system, I put that on my D-pad down. I did that as well, I made that. And same with auto land, just D-pad down by keeping hold of it. And the request landing, I changed as well to be my right thumbstick. So basically I'm just pressing my right thumbstick on the gamepad, and that will ask the traffic control to either let me out and open up the doors or to give me a landing pad to land on. So I made that change there as well. So next one, Quantum, is my modifier, which is left shoulder plus X. I think that's the same for everything. If not, it's there, you can see it. Docking, I haven't touched. Vehicle targeting. So the only thing I've done on vehicle targeting here is my locking a selected target. I press up on the D-pad twice, really fast, and whatever target is highlighted, it will automatically select them as the target. Now I use the Tobii eye tracker, so the good thing with the Tobii eye tracker is it follows your eyes, and if you're looking at a target, so if I was looking at a target in the top left here, it would highlight that target there, and then when I press double up on the D-pad, it would target that one there. Even if there was one here right in front of me, it would still target the one that I was looking at. So that's a great use for the Tobii eye tracker. I think it also steers your missiles as well. Someone can tell me if I'm wrong. And then to unlock it, I basically hold the shoulder pad and double up on the D-pad twice again. So I made those on my settings. And so vehicle target cycling. I didn't do anything on that. I think I toyed with this, but then just got rid of it. Target handling, nothing. The radar, this is, I think, is all the same. Decreasing and increasing the ping angle, it's all the same. Vehicle scanning, again, it's all the same. Activating the scanner, I think that's all the same stuff. That's default. Same with the mining, I haven't touched anything with the mining. That's all the same stuff. Turret movement, again, all is the same stuff. Just making sure the pitch, rather than a pitch up and down, is separate, just having one pitch. And same with the yaw, just having it one stick rather than left and right. And exit remote turret that's normal as well. So turret advance is nothing, and nothing's been added. Vehicle weapons, my right trigger. What I've done here is, rather than fire individual groups or having to go into my groups on the MFDs in the ship itself, I just changed my right trigger to be just fire all my weapons. So it doesn't matter if they're in control group 2 or control group 1, it will just fire them all together. Now I am toying with that because some people say it's not good to be able to, it's not good to have, firing ballistics and lasers at the same time because they do different things. But for me that works, having all of my weapons fire with just one trigger, and that way then I don't have to worry about holding two triggers, because it's quite awkward holding the pad and trying to pull in two triggers and steer and do all the other stuff that you've got to do. So it just makes it life a little bit easier. So I changed it to that. And the gimbal assist, I think, I'm not too sure if that's already set, but I press B on the pad and that changes it then to either auto, targeted, or just normal for locking and stuff like that. So basically changing the way whether you use your gimbals in auto mode or not. So that's B on my pad. Missiles, right trigger to fire a missile, and then to cycle the next type is left trigger, and then to increase the number of missiles is just holding my left shoulder and up on the D-pad to add more missiles to that. I'm not too sure if I changed that or not, but it's there anyway, so you can see it. Shields and countermeasures. I think these was already set as they were. Power triangle. Now I've been messing around with this. I'm still learning. At one point I did have, if I was firing my weapons, it put all the power to my weapons, and then if I was running away with a boost, it would put all power to my engines. And then I set my left trigger to be, if I held it, to go onto the shields. But I found it quite hard to handle while fighting. I'd be fighting someone or trying to run away, and it would take my shields off or stop my shields from regenerating because I was flying away from them. So I need a better system on that. So flight power, as you see there, just left shoulder on the D-pad, holding the left button and just up on the D-pad, just lets me push that up, the power to the thrusters. I think that's all I've done on there. Yeah. Okay, and flight HUD, that was all as it always has been. I haven't changed any of that. Lights, again, just left shoulder and D-pad. I'm not too sure if I changed that, but that's what that is. So on foot, I don't think I've changed anything on foot here. The only thing I have added is I did the helmet stuff, as you'll see as I come down to it. So my flashlight I set as down on my D-pad with the left shoulder. Toggle and equip helmet is down on the D-pad. So basically, I know it's the same as the flashlight, but it also flashes my flashlight so I can see when it does that, when I'm taking my helmet off. So I know it's taking my helmet off. I know you get the little visualization of it and that, and then I added in the wipe helmet visor, which is on the D-pad. And the rest of it I think is the same. I haven't touched anything else from that. But there they are anyway, just in case. EVA, again, I don't think I've touched anything on the EVA. I think that's all the same stuff as it was. Ground vehicle. So the thing I changed on the ground vehicle is my triggers, I think it was. So going forward, so left trigger is firing all my groups. And I used my right trigger, I think, for go, for forward. So all that lot's the same, but you'll see now if I go to movement, I put my drive forward as my right trigger and drive backwards as left shoulder button and right trigger. And that way then I'm not having to use my stick to go forward and backwards. I can just use my triggers like you do in normal racing games. The only issue with this is when you're doing mining, this can become an issue. So I'm still looking for a better solution to this. And all the rest of it was the same basically. Changing the turn right to be the thumbsticks. And and that was it basically, making sure I didn't have drive forward and backwards as a stick. And that was that. And then the rest of it is all the same stuff from there. Everything else is just the same as what the default is. Yeah. Quick keys, I think all of that lot is just the same stuff as what it's always been. But there they are for you just to have a look anyway. And that's it, guys. So for that, and then what you do once you've done that, you can then go over and save the control settings and give it a name, and then that will save it there, and then you can always just recall that here. And the way to then save this itself is if you go to here, then you where are we going? if we go to here and you go to your where am I going? Here. I'm going to go to C. Find it. Desktop. No. I'm going to go to C. And then our program files. And then I'm going to go to Robert Space Industries. And then Star Citizens. And then Live. And in here, you'll go to User, Client, 0, Controls, and then your mappings, and this is where the ones that I've saved are. So what you can then do is just drag them into a different folder, and then once you do download a new version of Star Citizen, you can drag this back in, and then you'll have access to that as well. So then you can bring up that pad from here. So that's that. That's my controls, guys. Pretty simple, really. There's not a lot to it. So yeah, so I hope you this helps you guys and gives you a chance to look at controls and have a proper look. I mean, you can pause and go through some of these if you need to. But there we are, that's my controls. I'm still looking for some better ways around things, like the triangle assignments and stuff like that. But yeah, I do like playing with a controller. It's pretty good, and that's the type of games I like. I like controller games rather than mouse and keyboard, because I struggle with the mouse and keyboard rather than the pad. So we hope you like that one, guys, and yeah, we'll see you guys out in the verse.